Maseches Chagigah. So we finished Moed and was talking about, in the end, was talking about death and mourning, and the final mission in Chagigah speaks about basically Mashiach is going to come, Bilam Mavas Netzach. So we went from there. We decided, like we spoke yesterday about the Siyam, we're going to go from Moed to Chagigah because we live according to the Rambam as Lubavitch Chassidim. But Moed was about death. The end was about resurrection, about getting up. Mashiach is going to come. Chagigah is all about kabbanas. The beginning, at least, it speaks about kabbanas that you bring when you go up Aliyah Leregel, when you go up to Beis Hamikdash on every single Yantif. I printed out the Rambam in Hilchas Chagigah for a few reasons. Number one, it gives you a little bit of an introduction of what Chagigah is, because the Gemara starts right away about the Aliyah. What exactly is it? What is the Chiyuv? Number two, for those that few told me that the end of the Rambam, when we learned that all the Hilchas Avelos was smooth sailing, so maybe we try the same thing in the other way around. The first learn the Rambam, then learn the Gemara. We'll see. But it's a.
Farnach was right. He told me that in the first mission it speaks about them from the Leregels.
Okay. Zak the Rambam. This is a Hilchas. This is Perek Aleph in Hilchas Chagigah. Halacha Aleph. Shalosh mitzvos essen itztav yisrael b'chol regel misholish regol ve'elim. There's 3 mitzvos essen that every Yid has on every Yontif, and these are the mitzvos. There's 3 mitzvos. Ho'iyah, seen or being seen. Shneim ha'yokel zechulchan. All the male should be seen. Ve'achagigah, and to have a festivity. Chag. Shneim ha'tocheg la'Hashem lekecha. That's the second pasuk. And so the second mitzvah on Yontif. Ve'simcha, and to be joyful, to be joyous. Shneim ha'smachta b'chagecha. So now, what is exactly this idea? What does it mean to be seen? So sagt the Rambam, that our faces should be shown, should be seen in the Azara, in the Beis Hamikdash. The main mitzvah is on the first day of Yontif. Now, it's not just to be seen. Being seen means, sagt the Rambam, it's part of the mitzvah that you have to bring a korban oila. So the first thing is to be seen and bring a korban oila. This korban oil can be beinim in a oif, beinim in a behema. It could be from birds, from the loud birds, from the behema. If you came to the Beis Hamikdash on the first day of Yontev and you did not bring a korban oil, is not only that he wasn't mekayim mitzvos esem, he's oivad on the loisese shenemah lo yiro upon areicham. You should not show your face empty. So if you show up, but you didn't bring a korban, you're over on a lav. Now, this lav is not a lav that you actively did. It's a what's it called? It's lav shem v'maisa. It's an inactive lav. So but not doing something, you were over. But even not doing something, you were over. So ve'en loika lav zeh lo yasa maisa. It's lav shem v'maisa. So that's the number one. Aliyah means being seen, and along it comes the halacha that you have to bring a korban. This korban is a korban oila. This korban can be from oif or behema. And Chagigah ha'amur b'Torah sheyakiv shlomim, another korban. So korban number 2. This is a shlomim, and you have to bring a b'yantiv rishon shlachag, the first day of Yontif. When you come to Beis Hamikdash to bring the korban there and be seen, then you also bring a korban shlomim, which will come Chagigah. V'adove duam. It is already known that a shlomim. You cannot bring a bird, you have to bring from a behema, from an animal. These 2 mitzvahs of the Iyah and Chagigah, the women are not mechuyev. Besides the fact that you have to be happy, but simcha and simcha lebabasa bayayin. So there's a koshiak of shlomim that you have to bring a shlomim yesa al shalom Chagigah on top of the shlomim of Chagigah. Ve'elu heina nikoin shalom simchas Chagigah. This last one is called the Shlom of Simcha of Chagigah. Shem v'zvachta Shlom v'chalta Shlom v'smachta l'fnei Hashem lekecha v'noshim chayavis v'mitzvah. The noshim also have a chiyuv to be happy, and this korban is something that the noshim could also bring. So while do they go up? Lav dafka. But if they go up, they should bring up this korban Shalmi Simcha. That's a Simcha. That's halacha Aleph. So basically, halacha Aleph tells us what is b'chlal this whole mitzvah of Aliyah. What does it entail? 3 korbanos. 1 korban is a oila, bird or behema, And two other karbanos, Chagigah and Shalmei Simcha Chagigah, and both have to be an animal, a behemah, not a bird. The second halacha is the amounts, because the Mishnah here, we learned a few halachas that this page is going to speak about. How expensive or how little do you have to pay for such a korban? You can bring a cheap animal. What are the parameters of here? So the first two mitzvahs of Aliyah and Chagigah, ein lem shir. There's no shir min ha-Torah. The Torah did not tell you how much, how little, or how much. Everyone according to what he can afford, he or she can afford. But the Chacham came and said, and we're going to see this in our Mishnah, that the first korban, the iyah, shouldn't be less than a ma'ah kesef. Now, a ma'ah kesef is here they go. A ma'ah kesef, if I saw this correctly, is an eighth of a gram of silver, which is not a lot of money. So it shouldn't be less than that. It's about a buck or less than that. So anyway, so that's it shouldn't be less than a shavim ma'ah kesef. The shalom chagigah pachas mishaveh shtei kesef, and the shalom chagigah should be even more. Shouldn't be less than 2 kesef, 2 silver coins. And the mitzvah really is to bring as much as your handle, as your bank account allows, as much as you can afford. Halacha zayin. What is going to bring down tashlumim, the concept of making up if you missed. If someone was not happy, did not bring a korban Chagigah, if he did not come up on the first day of Yontav of Sukkot, he can go on, and every day of Yontav of Sukkot he can go and bring a make-up korban. And he is mentioning Sukkot here because Sukkot, we know every day of Sukkot is another Yontav, and that's for every day of Sukkot we say halal, a full halal. But Yontav Achron, and even though the last day of Sukkot, which is technically a new Yontav, not even a Sukkot that's every day, but it's a whole different Yontav called Shmini Atzeres or Shmini Va'af Shmini Tashum L'Rishon. So even the last Yontav, you can bring a Tashlum, you can make up korban of the first day. V'chein mi shelo chag b'yem Chag HaShavuos. And now we're talking about the Yom Tovim that the days after Yontav are not considered a full Yontav. Like Chag HaShavuos doesn't even have a Chol HaMoed, and even Pesach that has a Chol HaMoed, but it's not considered. It's just a continuation of the first one. It's not its own Yontav. So Mishla Chag b'yem Chag HaShavuos Chol Kol Shiva. The 6 days after Shavuos, you can make it up, even though they are regular weekdays. V'yeshel the Shulm called Sheish Yom, and you can make up the 6 days after Shavuos. You can make up if he did not come to Beis Hamikdash to bring a korban. And that we learned. Actually, we learned it in Moed Katan. They make they connect with Chag HaShavuos and Chag HaSukkos, that just like Chag HaSukkos, Chag Matzos or Chag Pesach can be made up. So Shavuos, even though there's no Yontav, there's no Chol HaMoed, you can also make it up. Our Mishnah is going to start going straight, assuming that we know already. Now we know what the mitzvah is. Our Mishnah starts with who does not have a chiyuv to go up to the Beis Hamikdash. So the Rambam goes like this. He counts them later on, because later on the Gemara brings a few more. He counts all of them in this one on this halacha. Noshim, avodim, pturim, minoriyan, women and slaves are potter from going up. V'chol ha'an noshim chayav, but all males are chayav b'diyah. Chutz mecheresh shoyte v'cheresh ve'ilem. Here the Rambam teaches cheresh is someone that does not hear. Ve'ilem is someone that cannot speak. So a deaf and a mute. V'shoyta is there's a whole halacha of exactly today what does exactly mean a shoyta, and even a cheresh, just a person that cannot hear. There's certain halachas that discusses if you have hearing aids, does that apply, or does it have to be that you're so there's the bottom. There's a lot of ink spilled in it. Not going to go into here, but the concept of cheresh back in the days, if you couldn't hear, you couldn't hear. Ilem, mute. The shoyta, someone that back in it was a person that's disabled, mentally disabled in a way that he cannot function. The katan, and a little child. The suma, and someone that's blind. The chiga, and someone that has a limp. The tame, someone is tame, is impure. The odel, someone is not doesn't have a bliss. The zaken. So these are things that he cannot change. A zaken can be someone who's not sick, because everything is fine, but it doesn't have koyach, it doesn't have the energy to go up. The achoila, someone is sick. The rach ve'anuk, interesting, someone that is very An istin is someone that's I can't go up. I have no young guy, but for him, this walking from the Shalim to the Azara is too much for him. So the Torah says that you don't have to go up. These people that cannot walk on their feet, called Elu Echad Asaf, these 11 people that I mentioned, Ptuin are all part from going up to the Beis Hamikdash. Shakal and Ashim, all the other people, Chayavim, they have to go up and they go to the Beis Hamikdash. Someone cannot hear. Even though he speaks, so I'm here teaches in the Gemara we're going to teach Chadash a deaf mute, both. Here it's someone that is deaf, but maybe he can speak. So even if he could speak, someone is deaf on one ear, if he hears in the other, because it has to be a complete person, not a half-deaf person. The same thing also for someone that's blind, even if it's in one eye. Or if someone is limping on one foot, his potter. Someone that's mute cannot speak, even though he can hear, potter. Someone that we don't know, it's hidden. Tumtum is someone that his gender is hidden. We don't know if it's a male or female. Vandoigenes is someone that has organs in both. Ptuin is not fake isha because there is a suffix if it's a woman, and that suffix, that not knowing if it's a woman, takes away the chiyuv from him from going up to the Beis Hamikdash. Misha chetza eved chetza b'chayim. Someone who's a half eved chetza b'chayim. This is something going to be discussed at the end of this page in a very interesting machlokes over there. So someone is a half eved, half b'chayim, and how does it happen? Usually, two partners own a slave, and one partner says, "I'm letting you go free." So this guy has half. So Potem in mipnei avdos, he does not have to go to the Beis Hamikdash because of his part that he's still a slave. And now the Ram is going to bring all the psukim. How do we know that all these people don't have to go to the Beis Hamikdash? Where do you learn that out? You have to see all your males. So males, that we exclude a woman. Sorry, mitzvos esser she'ein anoshim chayav is ba, ein avadim chayav ba, and any mitzvos esser that the women don't have, also the slaves don't have. So now we know women and slaves don't have to go to Beis Hamikdash. Ve'oid harenem b'voy kol Yisrael. It says the Yidden are coming. Avadim. Another reason why we take out avadim, because it says the Yidden have to come, and an eved is not considered a full Yid. V'nem b'voy kol Yisrael leroyes. They have to come see. The same way the Yidden are coming to be seen by the Eibishter. The Yidden are also coming to see the beauty of the Beis Hamikdash, and which basically comes to exclude someone that is blind. Even if he's only blind in one eye, it's his potter. Why? Because he cannot see completely the full beauty and glory of the Beis Hamikdash. Sham Neman. And over there in the pasuk it also says "Leman yishmu," he has to hear. But it's if someone that does not have full faculties of listening, so if he's deaf on one ear, also he cannot go. He does not have a chiyuv of going to Beis Hamikdash. Or leman yilmu, someone teaching. It says over there that the people go up to Beis Hamikdash leman yishmu, so they should hear. Or leman yilmu, that they should teach. Who can teach? Someone that can speak. Whoever has a chiyuv of learning, he has also a chiyuv to teach others. It says when you go up to see the Eibishter or to be seen by the Eibishter, so going up means you have to be able to walk. You have to be able to walk. Someone that can walk up with his feet. This is coming to exclude someone that's limping, someone that's sick and he cannot walk, an elderly person that he doesn't have the energy to walk up, and someone that is a istin, is someone that just for him walking doesn't do it for him. The last ones we mentioned was Tomei and Adel, and in different halachim, the Rambam we discussed that a Tomei and Adel cannot go to the Beis Hamikdash. And this last halacha which is brought, and then we're going to go to the Gemara, is about a child. If a child can hold on his father's hand and walk, the Aliyah Leregel has to be only from the Shalim to the Halabais. You don't have to walk the entire way from Haifa. Once you get to the Shalim, there's a mitzvah to walk. So if a child cannot walk even that, then he's a little child and he has no Indian. He doesn't have to be Aliyah Leregel. Older than that, the mitzvah is not minat toida. Older than that, the mitzvah is chinuch. If he's older than that, chayav aviv chayav aloyser lehoizboin to be seen with him. Kedei lechancha the mitzvah. This is a mitzvah for chinuch. This is not the mitzvah in the Raisa. It's a mitzvah for chinuch. And we're going to see the Gemara whether this chinuch mitzvah applies in such ways that the person now has to bring a korban for his kid. Does his kid have to bring his own korban? If it's just chinuch, does he have to bring his own korban or not? Because it says to see all the males, a little child that could walk, but he has a limp, or he's blind, or he's deaf, mute, then he does not have a chiyuv even to chinuch to bring him up, because if he would have been an adult at that same time, he would have not had a chiyuv to go up. He wouldn't have had to go up. Even though, let's say that his limp is a temporary, and he knows, his father knows that in a little while the child is going to be healed, and then when he's going to be an adult, he has to go up. And let me be mechanech him right now. Let me educate him right now that he has to go eventually. So Am says no. Right now, we look at what's right now. Right now, he is limping. Right now, he is blind. Right now, he can't hear. Because we look at now, if he's right now an adult, right now would be potter. So let's go into the Gemara. So now we know what the Iyah is. According to the Rambam, the Iyah has 3 mitzvos, and the Iyah that going out to Beis Hamikdash has 3 mitzvos, being seen. That comes along with a korban, and then bring 2 other korbanos, a korban Chagigah and a korban Shalmei Simcha. So the Gemara. Hakoil chadaf beis amadav hakoil chayavin b're'iyah. Everyone is mechuyev to be seen to go to the Beis Hamikdash. Chutz mecheresh shoyte v'kotten, aside for a deaf mute, a shoyta, and a kotten, a child. V'tumtum v'androgenes v'noshim v'avodim she'enim v'shachorim. All the things which mentioned in the Rambam. An eved, a slave that is not free, which is an interesting point. If he's a slave, then he's not freed. If he's free, he's not a slave. We'll see it soon. Hachiger, someone is limping. Vasum, someone is blind. Vachoila, someone is sick. Vazakin, an old person. Or mish and yachala is beragla, for someone that doesn't, he's not old, he's not sick, it's not, everything is good. He can't walk up. Ezo cotton. What is a cotton? At what age? He didn't say an age. So when do you say this child is a little child? Once a child is bar mitzvah and everything is fine, he has a chiyuv mitzvah himself. He's a bar mitzvah boy. He has to go and bring a korban and everything. But if he's younger than that, at what point do you have to bring him up for chinuch? Eza cotton kol sheni yachal lirkav aksefav shel aviv. The Beis Shamai says that if it's so young that he cannot ride on the shoulders of his father, but al shalayim nahabayis divrei Beis Shamai. So then younger than that, you don't bring up. So basically, the age bracket, according to Beis Shamai, is much younger, is much more machmel. A child 2-3 years old, you can hold on the shoulders. That child you should be able to bring up to Beis Hamikdash. According to Beis Shamai. Basil says no, it has to be older than that because he has to be able to walk. The whole idea of going up to the Shalaim is Aliyah Leregel, going up with his feet. So Basil Aimim called She'eni Yachel Le'echas B'Yadai Shel Aviv. If he cannot hold on to his father's hand and walk nicely, and walk up from the Shalaim to Habayis, then younger than that, you stay home. If you could walk, you come along. Shenemar Shalosh Legolim, the 3 periods, 3 times in the year that you have to go up to the Shalaim. But Shegolim means also feet. You have to use your feet to be able to walk up.
So Basil is using the regalim for feet.
Basil is regalim for feet. Yeah, no, for both.
Right.
Obviously for both. Beis Shamai Aimim Horia Shtei Kesef. The Beis Shamai says that the korban, the Iyah, has to be worth at least 2 silver coins. Ve'chagiga ma kesef, and chagiga only 1. Basil Aimim Horia ma kesef, chagiga Shtei Kesef. So on the Rambam, that it has to be the Iyah is the cheaper korban, and the chagiga is the more expensive korban. Now, the Iyah, we know not from the Rambam, we learned the Iyah means going up and bringing a korban. Rashi and Tosfos here have a little bit a disagreement, and accordingly Rashi is going to go the entire page according to his opinion, and Tosfos is going to go to his opinion. Rashi says, on the first Rashi says, Hakoil chayavim b'Iyah b'mitzvah zriyah kol zechucha, in the mitzvah of being seen. Does not mention a korban. shetzrichin leizrois ba'azara leregel. You have to be seen in the azara on Yontif. No mention of Kalban. Tosfos, it's a little bit of a long Tosfos, we're not going to go through, but Tosfos basically asks a bunch of questions on Rashi. One of the questions that he asks on Rashi is in our Mishnah itself. Beis Shamai says, what is Riyah? 2 silver coins. So obviously we're talking about a Kalban, not only being seen, but what's 2 silver coins in the Azara? So Tosfos says, basically that when the Gemara says Akoil Chayav Riyah, it talks about both. Being seen and bringing the Kalban. Later on in the Gemara, you'll see that this Machlokes continues. As we go weiter, Rashi says, what's a cotton? Ezel cotton, says Rashi. Whoever cannot either ride on the shoulders, according to Beis Shamai, or according to Beis Hillel, cannot walk with his feet. What does Rashi say? Ezel cotton, you have to bring him up. Even though the child does not have a chiyuv to go up to Beis Hamikdash, the Chacham told his parents, his father and his mother, that you have to have a chinuch to go up. Does not say anything about a kalban again. And Rashi continues, and it says he has to go up with his feet. Nothing with a kalban. Why? Because Rashi goes again with his own opinion, with his own shitta, that the iyah itself is a mitzvah, and even if we're not talking about the kalban, we're talking about just going up to Beis Hamikdash. Tosfos in Ezel Cotton on the bottom of the page, Ezel Cotton Kol Sheni Yachal Le'Kav. Tosfos is a 3-part Tosfos. Let's look at the first part. Ezel Cotton Kol Sheni Yachal Le'Kav Zak Tosfos. From until that age, you cannot go to Beis Hamikdash. Misham v'hala, from that age and on, the child reached the age of chinuch. Now the Rabbanan said that he has to go up and say chinuch. Zak Tosfos. And he has to bring a kalban with him to the Beis Hamikdash. A kalban adav, he has to bring a donation. An adav is a donation. Why not a kalban itself? Because a kid does not have a kalban, obviously. But therefore, according to chinuch, you have to educate him that eventually he's going to have to bring a kalban. He has to bring a kalban adav. Now, there's an opinion that on Yontif itself you cannot bring a kalban adava, you cannot bring your own donation kalban. Therefore, you wait until after Yontif. The next part of Tosfos we're going to skip. The next part of Tosfos asks a question: if about the shlumim, if you can't bring a kalban adava the first day, you shouldn't be able to make it up on Chol Hamoed. And Tosfos answers that you could do it. The last part of Tosfos, the last 2.5 lines. Tosfos asks a very simple question: how can the child bring a kalban? On a kalban you have to do smicha, and the Gemara says there's no smicha by a kalban, leaning on the kalban to make whatever video, whatever it is. The last 2 lines of Tosfos, 2.5 lines. How can a cotton do smicha? The cotton ain't a soymech. A cotton cannot do smicha. Over there it says that a cotton does not do smicha. That everything is talking about education. Even though he cannot do smicha, but there's an education part of it which that you can do. Show your child that when you're going to get older, this is what you're going to do. This is good enough to teach your child a certain a lesson in education, that this is what's going to happen. Now the Tosfos, Rashi pirish deze cotton loy koile Aliyah Leregel. Sorry, loy koile Aliyah Leregel. Rashi that doesn't say about bringing a kalban. He goes according to his own shitta. Why? Because Rashi goes according to his own shitta, that when we say Akoil Chayav Riyah, it's only talking about being seen in the Beis Hamikdash or seeing the Eibishter, nothing to do with the kalban. That's why Rashi doesn't mention it. And Tosfos, we said it does say that it's a kalban, and that's what Tosfos later on has to explain it, that the child has to bring a kalban. Okay, that's the Mishnah. Every time, we know every time when it says akoil, all, you have an option. You can mention different categories of people that have to bring a kalban. And now we know these people can bring. If you say akoil and then you say, well, these not, so there is someone in there in the Mishnah that we wouldn't understand by ourselves that this person has to bring a kalban, the iyah has to go up to the Beis Hamikdash, and that's what the Mishnah says. And the Gemara is going to ask now, who is this person that we're not mentioning that has a chiyuv to bring up a kalban? Hakoil asuyamai. Who is this hakoil talking about? The first answer the Gemara gives, Lasuya Mishachetza Evet or Chetza B'Dochayden. Someone is a half Evet and a half a slave and half a free person. That person has a chiyuv of bringing a korban. I know we know the Rambam where you said with Paskin already that it's not so, because as you'll see what happened with the Maseches Beis Shamai over there. But the first answer is that the Mishnah is talking about the Hakoyel is talking about an Eved that is half for himself and half an Eved to someone else. So the Gemara Kasha. Ravina says that whoever is a half slave, half free person, he does not have to go to the Beis Hamikdash. So now, according to Ravina, the Hakoyel, who is the Hakoyel going to include? Hakoyel Asuyamai. It's talking about a person that has a limp on the first day. When it's spashet, a limp means that your foot is like bent in. When it's spashet and straightened out, the second day. Now, if the first day you couldn't go to Beis Hamikdash because you were limping, the second day Chalamoid you should be able to go up. That's not so simple. Leman haniche, that is all good. Leman dama, according to the opinion, it says kulon tashlum zelazeh. There's a machloikas whether what is the chiyuv of bringing a korban on Yontif. What is the machloikas? So Pesach comes, the first day of Pesach comes, you have to bring a korban Yontif. Forget the korban Pesach, korban of Yontif, Chagigah, the Iyah. Is the chiyuv for 7 days that you have 7 days to bring the korban? Best way to do is on the first day. But if you couldn't bring it the first day, bring it the second day, third. Each day you have a chiyuv to bring a korban. As the moment you brought that korban, that chiyuv goes down. Is that what the chiyuv is? Or no, the chiyuv is only the first day. You couldn't make it a first day. Now you have a bunch of days. Again, is the chiyuv every day you have a chiyuv to bring a korban? But the faster you take care of it, the chiyuv goes down. But initially, the chiyuv is on every single day. The best time is to do it first, because why push off a mitzvah? But you have the whole yontif to do it. Or is the chiyuv on the first day, and if you missed it, okay, we give you a chance to make it up. So if we are holding of the opinion that every single day you have a chiyuv, so even though the first day you couldn't come to the Beis Hamikdash because you were limping, but the second day you could, you're not limping anymore, so the second day you have a chiyuv, bring up the korban. But if you say that it's no, the first day you have a chiyuv. If you couldn't make it, but everything checked out, you weren't limping, you weren't blind, everything checks out, you just couldn't physically make it, or then you can make it up. But if you had no chiyuv on the first day because you were limping on the first day, you never had a chiyuv on the first day, so you never have you don't have to make it up. Yeah. Okay, so if you say that the hakoyel is coming to include someone that was limping on the first day but became all fixed up on the second day, that's good according to the opinion. Kulon tashlumin zelazeh, every single day is its own chiyuv, and every single day can make up the other day, so it doesn't make a difference. Second day, third day, first day you couldn't make it, the second day you can make it, you're good now. According to the opinion, the first day is the main day. All the other days are coming to make up the first day. Now, if the first day you don't have a chiyuv for going up to bring a korban, then the second day you don't have a chiyuv either. The second day is only to make up the first day. The first day you had no chiyuv. According to that opinion, what is a koil going to include? It's coming to include someone that is blind in one eye. And it disagrees with the Loiki Haitana. It disagrees with the other Tana that we're going to mention now. The Tana we learned in the Braisa. Yochanan ben Dahaboy Oima. B'Shum Rabbi Yehuda says the name of Rabbi Yehuda. Suma ba'achas me'enav potem aliyah. This Tana says in the Braisa, and according to the Rambam Paskins accordingly, that if someone is a suma, is blind in one eye, he does not have to go up to the Beis Hamikdash. He's part of the mitzvah of the Shnema Yeroeh Yiroeh. The pasuk says Yiroeh, and we know that there is always the mikra and the Messiahs. How it's written in the pasuk, and the Messiahs is how you were makabel, how you were able to change the what's it called, the punctuation, the nekudas, and read it in a different way. Vazaktan Yida Yeroeh. The pasuk says, "Shalish pa'am b'shana yeroeh kol zechucha." 3 times a year, every male should be seen, and he says that we can change it. Yireh should see, yeroeh should be seen. Kader sheba liroes, the same way you come to see, kach ba liroes, you also come to be seen. Ma liroes b'shtei for you to see, you have to have 2 eyes. A clear vision is 2 eyes. Af liroes, to be seen b'shtei is also 2 eyes. Here we have a machloikas Rashi and Tosfos, and the Maharsha explains it really nicely. The machloikas is like this. Rashi says, just like I said now, the pasuk says, "Shalish pa'am b'shana yeroeh kol zechucha," should be seen. According to Rashi, this Gemara is read Yireh yeroeh, that he should be seen, and then the person sees. And Rashi explains this, and this is where the Maharsha explains Rashi, that the Eibishter sees the person, and the Eibishter wants that a person should see him. So Tosfos asks a question on that. What's the Eibishter has to come see? The Eibishter doesn't have to be Aliyah Leregel. The Eibishter is in the Beis Hamikdash all the time. The Eibishter sees the people all over the world. So Tosfos asks a question. It's not possible. The last Tosfos on this page, he says, Rashi says the same way the Eibishter comes to see you, also you should see the Eibishter with 2 eyes. And Rabbeinu Tam didn't like it. The Eibishter doesn't have to come anywhere. The Eibishter is everywhere. So it can be that we're talking about the Eibishter to come see you. The Eibishter is asking you to be seen. That's the first question. The second question is, I mentioned before, there's the way the pasuk is written with the nekudos, which is yeroeh, and that's mikra, and there's mitzvos, which is how you can change the nekudos and make it sound something else. If you have those 2, usually the klal is, the rule is, that you first look at how it's written, and you learn whatever you learn from there, and then you look at how you can change it around, you learn something else. Rashi says that the way this Gemara is read is Yireh, which is the Maseches, which is how you can learn it eventually. Yeroeh, which is how it's written. So it says that's not, that doesn't go according to the rules of learning. Zokta is the second question. The Dosh Maseches Koidem. He's first looking at the way the pasuk could be read, not the way the pasuk is read. Adarabe, the opposite. First, you have to look at how it is written in the pasuk. So 3 lines on the last Tosfos, 3 lines, last 3 lines. Okay, goes Rabbeinu Tam. That's why Rabbeinu Tam says something else. He says, no, Yeroeh, the Gemara is read Yeroeh, Yireh. First, he used what it's written, and then he used what it is, what we could teach it. And what does he teach? It's not talking about the Eibishter. We also had a problem. How the Eibishter has to come see me. The Eibishter sees me everywhere. We're not talking about the Eibishter. We're talking about the person. The person has a mitzvah to see the Eibishter, to be seen by the Eibishter, and to see the Eibishter. Ma liroes b'shtei yanayim. The same way the person has to be seen by the Eibishter in 2 eyes. If the person also comes, he has to be able to see with both eyes. Basically, they both come to the same. It's the same finishing, that you have to have 2 working eyes to come. But how it comes, whether you look from the Eibishter, you look up from the bottoms up, Lamayla Lamata or Lamata Lamayla. This is the Machlokes Rashi and Tosfos.
It's not talking about regular ear. What are you seeing? You're not, when it says to see the Eibishter, you're not
see the, like I said, the Hadar Liroes. What did Amram write? Liroes Hadar Koche Ubei Shechanasa. You see the Beis Hamikdash. You see the beautiful, the Kahanim coming, making kavanas, bringing things. That itself is seeing. Is called seeing the Eibishter. But the pasuk is Yeroeh Kol Zechucha, is that the Yischarim should be seen. That is real. Okay, so this is the Machlokes Rashi and Tosfos. It's a Machlokes of whether the Eibishter has to see us or we have to see. I mean, we both have to do both, but where's the focus? Is the Eibishter wants to be seen and the Eibishter seeing us, or we have to see the Eibishter and we want to be seen by the Eibishter? That's according to Tosfos. Okay, but to summarize, this Tana said that you have to have 2 eyes. The Gemara says no. The Gemara disagrees. It says that we're not going to go according to that Tana, and therefore HaKoel is coming to include someone that is blind on 1 eye. He only has vision in 1 eye, and that's what HaKoel is coming to include. Another answer. We're going to go back to the first answer. The first answer was half Evet, half ben choiden. Now you're gonna have a problem. The Ravina said half ben choiden is potem. If you have a question about the Ravina, like kasha, it's not a kasha. We're going to go through till the end of the two dots, and we're going to go back to explain this. There was a Mishnah, no, he's going to say now, there was a Machoikas B'Sham V'Sil. There's a Mishnah in Adias that brings down a few things where Beis Shamai said one thing, and Beis Hillel said another thing. And obviously, we always know if there's a Machoikas B'Sham V'Sil, the Loch is always Beis Hillel. But in those instances, Beis Hillel went back and were masking with Beis Shamai, and the halacha ended up being like Beis Shamai, and Beis Hillel agreed. One of the things that it says like this in this Mishnah, Etnan. So is the first learning of Beis Hillel, the Kan Mishnah. We're going to go back to it in a second. Etnan, someone is a half Eved and half Ben Chodim. Again, two partners own a slave. One guy says, goodbye, you're free. So what does the Gemara say there? The Mishnah says, okay, you have to split it up half-half. How do you split it up? The slave serves his one master that is left one day, and the next day he is free. He can do whatever he wants. And he goes to does whatever he wants. If so, takante mesraboy. The Shammai says like you're only helping the oppressor, not the oppressed. That's what I'm saying. Like maybe Beis Shamai was woke. I don't know. There's always the underdog. Takantem is rabbi. You helped the master. There's atzma takantem, but you didn't help him. What's pshat? There's two aspects a person has. A person has an aspect that he can work and make money, and the other aspect is having kids. But an evet a complete 100% evet can only marry a shifcha, can only marry another maidservant. If he's half, he can't do this and he can't do that. Lisa shifcha and he can't marry a shifcha because he's half he's half free. Baschorin and he cannot marry a baschorin because he's half an evet. Libotel, should he do nothing? Should he not have kids? The world was created to have kids. The Eibush did not create this world to have a chaotic world, an empty world. The Eibush created this world that we should sit and dwell and have kids. So now, Zot Beis Shamai, Tikun Olam, again, Tikun Olam. So Tikun Olam, Koifen Esrabai, they force his one master that he has left. They force him. He makes him a chedim. He doesn't have to lose money of it. The koisiv l'shtad is now freed evet. Now that he's a free person, a fully fledged yid. He writes a note that he owes his master half of his portion. And that's what Beis Shamai says. He said, no, you know what? That is actually true, and we are going to pass in the same way. That if someone said you're half this, half that, automatically you're going to be freed fully. So it says Beis Hillel, not only you don't have to wait until the person is freed fully, but as long as he's still in that half position of half category, he is already mechuyev mitzvos. It is as if he was free totally. So comes in our Mishnah here and it says everyone is mechuyev b'le'iyah. Then the Mishnah says avodim she'enim meshachdalim. Avodim, slaves that were not freed. What kind of slaves are not freed? We're talking about half. So then when the Mishnah was written the first time, the Mishnah was written here, that was going to according to opinion. But Beis Hillel said the first opinion of Beis Hillel that there is a concept of half evet, half ben chodim. So therefore, avodim she'enim meshachdalim are pata. Even though you have a half part of you that you're allowed to, that you are yid, but you're patan. Then Beis Hillel comes and says, no, that a half evet, half ben chodim is considered a full ben chodim. Now you're mechuyev. Where do you see that? From the word akoil. Zogtim, go back. We're going to go back to the first answer that it's talking about the half evet, half ben chodim, half slave, and half free person. Now you're going to have a question of Avina. Avina says such a person is potter. That is such a person is potter because he still has an eved. He's avdus in him like Kashya. Avina was talking about according to Beis Hillel, when he was in the position that the concept of half eved and half b'chadin existed. Such a person, because he's a half eved, he doesn't have to go to Beis Hamikdash. He doesn't have to bring a korban. But when the Mishnah wrote HaKol Chaven, is what are we talking about? Kamishna chloino, that Beis Hillel said that yes, the concept of half evet and half b'chayden doesn't really exist because the moment you go into that category, you're a free person. Rashi says, last line of Rashi, v'havale ki'il meshucha kvar v'chayev, is as if he's already freed and he's chayev of the iyod. Now koil is coming to include that person that even though he's still an evet, he didn't buy himself off, he didn't write the shtar yet, but he's already considered a free person.
When did they make it happen?
Huh?
When did they make it happen? How long does it take?
I don't know, it doesn't say, but it has to happen right away because even a moment to hold back a moment, you're not allowed to. Even holding back for a moment, not to. As soon as an evet,
There's no actual mitzvos, right?
there's no. But let's say if it happens. We had in the Gemara that where do we have it in Tmuda? That if someone wanted to bring a kolban and the Beis Hamikdash, he gave the kolban and it's ready. He's going to the shleim, and the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed right then. Or he shechted the kolban and he's holding the blood, and the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. It's theoretical, but yeah, in theory, such a thing can happen. That punkt Erev Pesach, Erev Yontav, Erev this, he was meshachlim, he freed him. Question here, the Gemara also speaks in other places. An evet that was also I think mentioned as an evet. He was a slave. He was married to a maidservant, to a shifcha, and he had children with her. And now he was freed. He has a new mitzvah. You see here, there's a new mitzvah of Pideh V'Diva. He doesn't have any children. He's considered now a full-fledged yid, and he has to have children. And therefore, that mitzvah you cannot hold back even for a moment. So that goes in right away. And therefore, the korban, he cannot marry someone until he buys him. So it's a technical thing. But Shammai says we have to force the master to let him go free. But the korban, it should be mechuyev right away because it's as if he's already a free person. Now we said there's also valid.
How did he get to marry a maidservant? He's the one who becomes.
No, he doesn't. When he was a full-fledged slave, the only one he can marry is a maidservant. Right?
Said now
that he's half, he has to be freed because otherwise he won't be able to marry anyone.
If you have the shifcha already?
No, he has to. No, the shifcha is nothing. The shifcha is nothing.
Half, I'm saying, if he's half, he has to leave her.
So actually, Tosfos asks us, so marry a shifcha that's also half. So let him marry a shifcha that is half. It's not possible because it's not. He wants to bring a proof of a pilda, a mule that is a donkey and a horse. But it comes a mule. So over there, the Gemara says that there's even an opinion to say that you're not allowed to ride a mule because it's kalayim. The Gemara says no, it's not a problem. And what are you going to do with the mule? So you have to be meshadach a mule with another mule. I don't know what the female form of a mule is. Whatever. And Tosfos says so. If that's the case, let a half evet, half ben cholim marry a half shifcha, half bas cholim. But it's not shaykh because there's from each side.
The shifcha he had before he got freed.
It's not his wife.
Not anymore.
No, it was never his wife. The only reason that the master gave him a shifcha is because he wanted to have offspring. It's not a real wife. So the offspring is not even his. It belongs to the master. It's not his kids. Just the last Tosfos on top. So Rashi, the first Rashi on Daf Beis and Beis is like this: you fixed the master, but you didn't fix the evet. So Zadashi called Takon as Rabbikani. This is all we're doing right now is helping the master. How? What was pshat? Look in Tosfos. Talk Tosfos first. The top Tosfos. Takantem is Rabbi b'ma shehoy lemikoi yesh la'achshav. The master, he was a partner with another friend of his, and they both owned a slave. One guy gave up the slave. The other partner still has the same time. You come to me Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. I still have those days. So the masters, nothing changed, right? So the only problem is with David. The master, whatever he had before, he has now. Because he is still his slave. But he didn't do anything for the slave. That he cannot marry a woman. But in the only problem is the fact that he cannot marry and have children, because a slave, now it's a good thing for him. He became half ben choden. That doesn't bother him. Before he was fully under a master, he had a master for both days. Okay, that's one thing Tosfos is saying, that why we're focusing so much on the woman, because the actual fact that he was a slave, now he has a free day, so we're not looking at that. So the Rabbi Shulam says, no, tikantem is atzmai. We don't look at the oppressed. We're trying to help the oppressor. Tikantem is atzmai v'zrabel tikantem klal. You fix the slave because he is now half free, but the master, he's stuck. Why? Because the master cannot have offspring anymore. The whole idea of a eved is to marry a shifcha. Then the children, the master will keep having his children. Now that he's half here, half this, the eved cannot have children because he can marry, and now the master is losing. So according to the Beshulam, we always help the oppressor, not the oppressed. I'm going to stop here.